Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama,
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhu. निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Nitai Gaur Premanandi. So we'll do one more kirtan until Maharaj comes. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
How many of the persons that are here this evening were not with us for part one? This is Valmiki part two. Who needs a little bit of review of Valmiki part one? Okay. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vasatya Satarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. In anticipation of the appearance day of Lord Ramachandra on Ram Navami, coming up very soon, next week, We'll be spending some time during this visit on topics of Ramayana, specifically the approaches, personalities of Ramayana, and the whole range of personalities of Ramayana would take about 25 classes. We don't have 25 classes, so we're not going to cover all the topics, but some key ones, key personalities, and of course the author himself, Valmiki, is a primary personality. One of the things that we heard earlier today at the temple is Lord Ramachandra appears like Krishna appears once each day of Lord Brahma. Brahma lives a long life. One day is like one day. So in different days of Lord Brahma, there's different appearances of Krishna. There's different appearances of Ramachandra. And so there's variety of things that happen. There's a Prabhupada's phrase is a spool. Like, the old system of movies were wound up on a spool and they played them again and again and again. So there's a theme within Lord Ramachandra's pastimes and his associates and what the things that they do in loving dealings. Rasa is of essence. We spent some time on the rasa topic today. The rasa of sorrow, shoka. And karuna, we heard that Lord Ramachandra is the presiding deity of that rasa, karuna rasa. But karuna rasa, because he has such care and affection for Sita when Sita is kidnapped. That is, attachment increases when there's separation. Loving attachment increases when there's variety of rasa. There's meeting and there's separation. Sambhoga and vipralamba. Meeting and separation. Meeting and separation. And there's varieties of exchanges of moods of love during those exchanges. But there's so much of this shoka prominent in Valmiki Ramayana because Ram is the Lord. He's the presiding deity. So we heard earlier today, there are different versions of Ramayana. We heard that according to Padma Purana, there's 100 different versions of Ramayana. One devotee in the course of my being in Texas sent me a reference from Mahabharata, where he was identifying, at least in some learned circles, there's the Vyasa Ramayana. And Vyasa Ramayana begins in Vanaparva. Vana, they're in the forest. And Yudhishthira is having a discussion with a very learned sage. And Yudhishthira says to the sage, amongst all sages, you're superlative. Could you explain why it is that the sinless Pandavas have to undergo so much suffering, including difficulty with Draupadi being kidnapped? So it doesn't give the detail. So the sage says, that's nothing. Let me tell you about Ramachandra, the virtuous Maryada Purushottama Ramachandra, and the difficulty he had to undergo. So there's 50 chapters in Mahabharata that discuss what this devotee was saying. In learned circles, it's known as the Vyasa Ramayana. It's not everything, not the full Ramayana. But there's different. So that's one of the things that we heard. So there's different histories of who was Valmiki before he was Valmiki from different Ramayanas. And it's not like if this one's right, then those other ones have to be wrong. It's just different days of Brahma. It's clear. Okay, good. Here's something. Let's just assume that some of you are a little newer. And for those of you who are a little newer, here's a book, cover of a book, Laghu Bhagavatamrita, that was written by Rupa Goswami. Some of you may be newer and you don't know who is Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami is the principal, one of two principal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just after Mahaprabhu's time, they received, he and Sanatana Goswami received extensive instruction by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to understand the science of bhakti and bhakti rasa. And then Mahaprabhu empowered them to write. And so they wrote volumes and volumes. And one of the volumes is Laghu Bhagavatamrita. The essence of this book, you can see it's quite a thick book. That's a BBT translation of his book with commentary by Baladev Vidyabhusan. And it's description of avatars. How many avatars are there? Answer. How many waves are there in a river? Count them, and the wave number just increased. You can't count them all, the avatars, but there's principal avatars and categories and subcategories of those categories. That's the subject matter of Laghu Bhagavatamrita. And here's what it says about Ramachandra's appearance coming soon. Splendid as a new blade of Durva grass, and accompanied by Sumitra's two sons and by Bharata, he appeared in the Treta Yuga of the 24th Chatra Yuga as the son of Kaushalya and Dasarath. Now, please note, this is Vaivasvata Manu, that we're Manu number 7. Some of you are newer. What is he talking about? And every day of Brahma, there's 14 Manus. Every day of Brahma has 1,000 yuga cycles. And you divide 14 into 1,000. It's an uneven number, and therefore there's a sandhi, or there's a break, there's an overlap of time between one Manu and the next Manu. Correct? Did you follow what I just said? No. 14 Manus per day of Brahma. When you divide 14 into 1,000, what does it come out? It's 71 and a fraction. So what happens to that fraction? It's a sandhi, a juncture of time, where there's before the one, after the one Manu, and the next Manu. There's a juncture of time. It's like, dusk or dawn, neither day or night, like that. So, of the 14 Manus, we're living during Manu number 7, Vaivasvata Manu. Just as we hear in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna instructed Bhagavad Gita to whom? The sun god, Vivaswan. And Vivaswan taught it to his son, Manu. That's Vaivasvata Manu. That's our Manu. Manu number 7. And in each Manu, for your interest, there's 71 yuga cycles. And then there's a division, a sandhi, juncture of time, then the next, and then the next. Makes 14 for every day of Brahma. And then there's Brahma's night, etc. in 30 days, and 100 years, and that's it. The universe is withdrawn. So it's a big spans of time. So according to Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Ramachandra didn't just appear in the so this is Kali Yuga. What yuga comes before Kali Yuga? Dwapara Yuga. Krishna appeared in Dwapara Yuga. It's not that the Treta Yuga before Krishna appeared, Ramachandra appeared. No. That's what this is saying. This is the 24th Chatur Yuga, and we're in the 28th Chatur Yuga. A whole bunch of time passed. You know, almost 3 complete Yuga cycles passed since Ramachandra, working on number 4. You follow? The children get it because they do math. They can do math in their head. It's like, no problem. Older people, it's like, what's he talking about? Big gap of time between when Ramachandra appeared and when Krishna appeared and when Lord Chaitanya appeared. Big gap of time. Practically 4 Yuga cycles. And that's a lot of time, 4 Yuga cycles. It's a lot of time. According to Vayu Purana, listen to this. Valmiki was the Veda Vyas in the 24th Yuga cycle of Vaivasvata Manu. That's the same Yuga cycle as when Ramachandra appeared. And we're in the 28th Yuga cycle. That's an interesting way to start an evening class, isn't it? Because we want to talk about Valmiki. But here's how it begins. This is the beginning of Valmiki Ramayana. Towards the beginning of Valmiki Ramayana, we hear about Narada Muni. We know who Narada Muni is. He's the one with the Veena. And he's visiting the ashram of Valmiki. And the person next to Valmiki is his disciple Bhardraj Muni. So these two, we'll hear their names a few times this evening. Bhardraj Muni is a direct disciple of Valmiki. Narada comes to pay them a visit. In the very first verse of Ramayana, we hear about Valmiki. And Valmiki, wants to ask Narada Muni questions. He offers proper respect to Narada Muni. And Narada, foremost among sages, always devoted to austerities and study of the sacred texts, he's asked questions, starting with the second verse, 112 through 115. He asks questions of Narada, and his questions are specific, very specific. He wants to know who is a true hero. No, like Kshatriya, the descent of Ramachandra. It's alluding to the descent of Ramachandra. So, mentioned are 16 characteristics, and there's a list in these 4 verses. There's characteristics of a hero. You separate them out, and there's 16 of them. Who in this world today is virtuous? And then here's the other items. Powerful, knows Dharma, grateful, truthful, firm vows, good character traits, kindly disposed towards all living beings. Who's that? Who carries all these things? Learned, competent, appears very pleasant, self-possessed, control his anger, brilliant, not envious, etc. Who has all these? 16 characteristics of a great hero. Narada listens, and Narada responds. Narada responds, starting with verse 6, over the next 74 verses, narrates a mini Ramayana within Ramayana. And then Narada's advice, not just advice, he instructs him, you meditate on these 74 verses. Because it's not just like he needed a book. These are sages that when they hear something, they remember something. Not like Kali Yuga. No, it's very different. So, and then after meditating, then you write Ramayana. That's Narada's visit to Valmiki's ashram. So here's that same painting you saw before. And Narada then says to Valmiki, this is later in this first section, whoever reads this history of Rama, this is a palastuti, that the benefit of something that I hope you'll be doing in the course of this next week before Ram Navami, that you'll be reading. Please. Here's the palastuti. Whoever reads this history of Rama, which is purifying, destructive of sin, holy, and the equal of the Vedas, is freed from all sins. A man who reads this Ramayana story, which leads to long life, will after death rejoice in heaven together with his sons, grandsons, and attendants. A Brahmana who reads it becomes eloquent. A Kshatriya becomes a lord of the earth. A Vaishya acquires profit from his goods. And even a lowly Shudra achieves greatness. So that's at the end of those 74 verses. You with me? This is beginning of Valmiki Ramayana. And when he completes his discussion, instructing Valmiki to compose Ramayana after meditating on the instructions you see in the sky up in the upper right, he departs. And what happens next? Well, Valmiki does exactly what Narada said to do. He meditates on these 74 verses for one muhurta. We discussed this during the Sunday program. It's still Sunday, but during the program at the temple. And what's the duration of one muhurta? 48 minutes. 48 minutes. And two muhurtas together, there's the celebrated, most ISKCON devotees know what Brahma Muhurta is. Brahma Muhurta Brahma Muhurta begins 2 muhurtas before the sun rises. So the sun hasn't come up yet, the sun is starting to come up. And that 2 muhurtas before is Brahma Muhurta. It's the best time. If you want to do your sadhana in the best possible, many of you have been asking questions about the solar eclipse. It is said you do sadhana during the solar eclipse, that whatever the period of time that lasts for, and there's multiple times benefit from when you might do your sadhana any other time of the day or any other day. And Brahma Muhurta is the best time for your devotional practices of any kind, whatever it is that you might be, inclined to do. Ours is chanting Hare Krishna, but any devotional practice, it's especially beneficial starting at Brahma Muhurta. So when does Brahma Muhurta begin? It's 2 muhurtas. 48 plus 48. 76, right? 96. I knew you'd pay attention. Okay. That's when you begin. So, for one muhurta, he meditated. Now it's time for him to go to the river, and the river Tamasa, where he was going to do his morning duties. And the painting shows what he saw. On to his side, there's a hunter, and there's an arrow in the chest of the male croucher bird or heron. And while by the shore of the river Tamasa, they were mating. In the midst of their mating, the hunter shot an arrow and killed the male bird right before his very eyes. Valmiki saw this. We heard this during the Sunday temple class, but then he uttered a curse of the hunter, which is filled with shoka, or sorrow, or sadness. Here's the verse. We saw this slide before. It's in Anustup meter. There's 32 syllables per each line. Oh, hunter. Now he's a sage. He remains disturbed of all circumstance, but he gets really disturbed. Because you have killed the male bird and separated it from its companion when they were approaching the peak of their passion, you will be condemned for all ages to come. May you never find peace of mind for endless years. It's a curse, a Brahmana's curse, filled with grief at the scene that he saw. According to commentators on Ramayana, this verse is Mangalacharana. Now in ISKCON we have our Mangalacharana. We, recite auspicious prayers at the beginning of some ritual to invoke auspiciousness. Mangala, Charana. This is it for the whole Ramayana, right towards the very beginning. And Bhardraj Muni was with his guru, Valmiki, when he heard him speak this. According to the next section of Valmiki Ramayana, Bhardraj noticed the mood swing of Valmiki as he spoke this verse. He felt first rage, then deep remorse that he spoke these harsh curse to a hunter. And then he started feeling great delight. And Bhardraj noticed these changes of moods of Valmiki, and he didn't make the mistake of Vaishnava Aparad. There's something transcendental going on here. I don't understand it. I'm not going to judge it or evaluate it. It's just it's unbecoming behavior. It's not normal behavior for this great sage Valmiki. But he remained silent. Something's going on. And I'll understand it in due course of time. So in due course of time, what happened is Lord Brahma, you see on the far left, he came to the ashram of Valmiki. How'd you like to have Lord Brahma pay your ashram a visit? Not so likely. But that's what happened. And on the far right, you see there's the croucher birds, and you see Valmiki giving this curse to the hunter with folded palms accepting the curse. That little fellow next to him in the purple dhoti, that's supposed to be Bhardraj Muni. Anyway, then Brahma says, this is the first section of Valmiki Ramayana. Brahma says, don't you know that it was at my direction that Saraswati, the goddess of speech, uttered through your lips the seeming curse? The words that cause your innocent heart a world of anxiety shall bring unto you boundless fame. It's a premonition, it's a Mangalacharana verse setting the mood for the whole of the Ramayana, because there's sorrow and sorrow and sorrow and more sorrow and more sorrow throughout the whole of the Ramayana. spoken by Goddess Saraswati through his mouth. Doubt no more, dive deep into the story of Ram, even as you have heard it from my son Narada. So Brahma knows that Narada paid him a visit, gave him a synopsis, 74 verses, is not the whole Ramayana. We heard way back the first class, Mula Ramayana has 1 billion verses. 100 crores. 74 verses. As you heard from Narada, what nobler subject for your poem than Sri Ramachandra, the divine hero, because he was asking Narada, who has the embodiment of these hero qualities, 16 in number? Ramachandra. The soul of righteousness, the perfect embodiment of all that is good and great. Now here's a little commentary that the words spoken through the mouth of Valmiki are very similar to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that when Hiranyakashipu insulted Prahlad, the words that he spoke of insult to Prahlad was actually a glorification of Prahlad, meaning words in Sanskrit have root, dhatu, and depending on how you take the root meaning and apply the root meaning, it can mean this or can mean that. So acharyas that know Sanskrit, they can take one verse and one verse looks like an insult. Hiranyakashipu was insulting Prahlad, but taken a different way, it's a glorification of Prahlad. Similarly, Jarasandha insulted Krishna. What was the circumstance of Jarasandha? We all know when Hiranyakashipu insulted Prahlad. Jarasandha let's go to Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is in Dwarka. We're just changing gears here. Krishna is in Dwarka. Krishna is with his royal assembly. Uddhava is by his side. There's, Ugrasena is the king, but two messengers come almost at the same time. One is the messenger that is coming from kings who are devotees, great devotees of Krishna, and the kings are asking for relief. Please save us, we're in prison. And around the same time, another messenger comes from Yudhisthira. Yudhishthira's messenger says that Krishna, you're being requested to please come to Indraprastha and preside over a Rajasuya sacrifice. I would like to become anointed the king. It's my birthright, the eldest son of Pandu, and I'd like to have a formal ceremony where I become anointed the king, Rajasuya Yagya. And I'd like you to be the guest of honor. You with me? Two messengers, very different requests. And so Krishna turns to Uddhava as if Krishna needs Uddhava's help. He's just giving Uddhava some service. Uddhava, what should I do? You're my best minister. Uddhava says, you know what to do, but because you're giving me some service, I'll say, Rajasuya is only to be performed. Rajasuya is only performed when all other kings have been conquered. And there's one king who hasn't been conquered. That's Jarasandha. So you should first make an arrangement to conquer Jarasandha. And then when Jarasandha is conquered, then the Rajasuya Yaga can be performed. And Jarasandha, the way to get Jarasandha to do battle with you is he is known for being charitable to Brahmanas. Yes? Why did he's a demon? But because he got merit, kriti, for doing charity to Brahmanas. Then he became duskriti. He used it in a bad way. Yes? Kriti can be sukriti or duskriti. So he's a duskriti. Duskritina, Buddha. So go, you three, Bhima, Arjuna, and Krishna, in disguise as Brahmanas and ask him for charity, and he'll say yes. But when he said yes, then he was given, the option of which of the Brahmanas he'd like to do battle with. Then he started insulting Krishna. So that's the reference. When Jarasandha was insulting Krishna, it was insulting. But take the same words of insult and it becomes a glorification. Depends on your Sanskrit scholarship. His intention certainly was vilification. So same in this particular section, the words spoken, listen carefully, the words spoken, this Mangala Charana is actually Mangala because it brings in the glories of Lord Ramachandra, who went through many, 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 many ordeals, but his fame would last forever and ever and ever, not that his infamy would last forever and ever and ever, through the recitation of Ramayana. Now, there's a detail in the end of this little section. Govinda Raja, those of you that are with us for the program at the temple, you know who Govinda Raja is now. Govinda Raja is a Sri Vaishnava Acharya who is most celebrated amongst all Sri Vaishnava Acharyas for his commentary on Ramayana. Most celebrated commentator. So Govinda Raja, in his commentary on this particular verse, says that it was Saraswati is not mentioned by name, but it's Saraswati, inspired by Brahma. Goddess Saraswati is the wife of Lord Brahma. Brahma, inspired her to speak through Valmiki's mouth, this Mangalacharana verse. Now, we're going to hear some further, of course, it's just Lord Brahma paying a visit to the ashram of Valmiki, but he's going to impart many things in this short visit. Let's hear some of these things he's going to impart. For all that befell Lord Ram, Lakshman, Sita, men, monkeys, gods, and rakshasas, their acts, their word, and even their very thoughts, known or secret, whether in public or private, will be revealed to you. This is Guru giving a benediction. You're going to become omniscient. Fasten your seatbelt. You're going to become omniscient. Whether you saw it or didn't see it, whether you heard it or didn't hear it, you're going to become, even the thoughts and feelings, you're going to know all of that so that you can compile Ramayana. Nothing that comes out of your mouth, consciously or otherwise, shall be false. Now compose the holy story of Rama, fashioned into slokas, to delight the heart of men, perfect in its rhythm and melodious in its flow. And then he says, I will reveal to you the entire Mula Ramayana, 1 billion verses. I'll personally impart it into your heart indelibly. You'll understand everything, and nothing will remain unknown. Phew. Pretty fantastic visit, huh? This poem will be flawless. For as long as the mountains and rivers flourish on earth, the legend of Ram will flourish in this world. And for as long as the Ramayana flourishes, the world will know and celebrate you along with the Ramayana. And that was his visit. And so he began the undertaking of composing Valmiki Ramayana right then and there. Brahma departed. He's been visited by Narada. He's been visited by Brahma. He had this exchange with the Krancha bird, the utterance of Saraswati through his mouth. Brahma's confirming, because he's a sage, he doesn't become, Pandita Samadarshana. Vidya Vanaya Sampane Brahmani Gavi. There's nothing that disturbs him. But he became angry, rage, cursed. It's completely out of character. There's a purpose for his being completely out of character like this, to set the mood of composing Ramayana. So we don't hear so much about Valmiki until much later in Ramayana. The much later we hear about him is when Sita is sent to take refuge at his ashram. She's a number of months pregnant, and Ramachandra sends her away. Now, I'm not going to redo it again. The question came up at the temple. Wait a minute. Ramchandra is the emblem of virtue. How could he send a pregnant wife to go away when he knew she was innocent and so forth and so on? So that's a doubt that sometimes people have. So we had an hour and a half class on that topic, and I'm not going to repeat an hour and a half class right now. But it's on YouTube and you can hear it. The headline is Maryada Purushottama. How did he do this? Maryada Purushottama means he is the emblem of good virtue, perfect virtue, flawlessly. He never deviated from Dharma, and he always abided by Dharma. That's checkmate. So how did he do this? Sounds adharmic to me. You don't send your wife, you protect your wife. That's adharma. How can he do this? So we discussed the topic. And another topic we discussed, this is in Dallas, was Shatrughna. Many of you are very familiar. Shatrughna is one of the four brothers. And Shatrughna accepted the responsibility when Ram is now back in Ayodhya after 14 years of exile, and he's ruling in Ayodhya. And one of the activities of a king in Ayodhya, or a good virtuous king anywhere, is they have an opportunity. Anybody in the kingdom, which is the world, can come and have audience with the king and say they have a problem. That wouldn't work today. But things were so virtuous that it worked. And one of the things that happened, according to Valmiki Ramayana in the concluding section, Uttarakhanda, was Chavana Muni came. Chavana Muni had an ashram not far from Madhupuri. Madhupuri is today's Mathura. So consider the geography. Where's Ayodhya? Ayodhya is way over here. And Madhupuri or Mathura is way over here. So it's a big distance. He went all the way from Mathura to Ayodhya to lodge a complaint, or not lodge a complaint, ask for Ramachandra's intervention. I'll just do it quickly. The intervention was, you've come back after killing the horrible Ravana. You defeated him. There's somebody that's similarly, it's his cousin, no, his nephew, his cousin's son, Lavanasura. He is giving us in the ashram enormous trouble. He's wild. He's a demon. He's a Rakshasa demon. And he has a lance that's an invincible lance. It's a gift from Lord Shiva, etc., etc., etc. And we need help. Ram said, surely, I'll come. But if one of my brothers would like to go, this is a whole discussion, and eventually Shatrughna goes. When Shatrughna goes, he passes through the ashram of Valmiki. And when he passed through on his way to Madhupuri, and when he passed through Madhupuri, the ashram of Valmiki, Lava and Kush were born that night. So he observed the birth ceremony, all the rituals that were done, Kusha grass and this and that by Valmiki. And 12 years later, he came back because he defeated Lavanasura. There's a long description of how that happened. Very, very delicate. And 12 years later, the boys are 12 years old. And when they're 12 years old, they had been given Diksha by Valmiki, and they were trained in musical instruments. They were trained in military skill. They were trained in the scriptures. They were trained in all possible ways. And when he came back, he stayed at the ashram of Valmiki long enough to observe these two boys singing Ramayana, because he trained them. And they sang very beautifully, they played musical instruments, and it was so charming because he Shatrughna, had such love for Ram. He thought, wouldn't it be really nice if Ram could hear these two boys singing Ramayana? So he made that request. Shatrughna made the request of Valmiki. Can these two boys come with me? Can you come with me? Can we all go together to Ayodhya? And these two boys, the sons of Ramachandra, can sing Ramayana for the pleasure of Ramachandra? So he agreed. So here's a nice painting. There are the two boys with their musical instruments before a sacrificial fire. On the far right side, they're the ministers of Ram, and there's Ram in the center. And on the far left side, there's Valmiki and his disciples. And in the front, that's the two boys singing. And as the two boys were singing, Ram didn't know, as if he's omniscient, but who are they? They're your sons. And who else was with them? One other person was with them. Sita. Sita was also there. And then we heard this whole description. Sita was thinking, if I stay, the two boys are now with her father. I've done my part. They're 12 years old. They're trained by Valmiki. Now they can stay here and they become the next king. But if I stay, then bad name may come to Ramachandra. So I don't want that. So she made a prayer. You know the prayer. If there's any merit that I've done, if I've been completely faithful and chaste, then the very place that I came from, the earth, let the earth open up and receive me again. Let me enter into the earth. So the earth opened up. Bhumi Devi herself appeared in a nice Vyasasan, and Sita sat next to her, and they descended back into the earth, not to be seen again. That's how Sita's departure was. Many things happened. One of the things that happened was Ramachandra said to Bhumi, if you do this, you're going to get my wrath. Sita should stay. Lord, this is in Valmiki Ramayana, Lord Rama came and said, no, no, no. It's supposed to be like this. You will be with Sita in the heavenly realm. Just be patient. The time will come. So in this case, in Valmiki Ramayana, Brahma gave instructions to Valmiki. Brahma gave nice advice to Lord Ramachandra, and Sita disappeared. Right there in Ayodhya, right in front of the public assembly. She just entered, because that's where she came from. I'm going to say one more thing that's extra. It's not essence. In our teachings, our Siddhanta, there's Shakti and there's Shaktiman. The possessor of Shakti is Shaktiman. And Lord Ramachandra is Shaktiman and Sita is Shakti. Which of the Shaktis is Sita? According to those of you that have been to a Sri Vaishnava temple, let's say, how many here have been to see Lord Ranganath? And yeah, many have. So Lord Ranganath he's a very, very large deity. And in addition to the very, very large deity, there's a festival deity or Utsav deity. And the Utsav deity is quite different in size, modest in size, brass deity. And on either side are there two Shaktis, Sri Shakti and Bhu Shakti. Yes? So Sita is in the category of, these are the internal potencies. The Shaktiman, Narayana, and the two Shaktis, Shri and Bhu. Shri, goddess of fortune. Bhu, the internal potency, spiritual potency of Narayana. And Sita is in the category of Bhu Shakti. You with me? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was a young man, he was married. He was married to Sri Shakti. Her name was Lakshmi Priya. One time when he was away, this has everything to do with the mood of meeting and separation. He was away for a long time. She died of separation. And Mother Sachi made a request of her son, you should remarry. So he accepted her request because he loved her as mother. So he remarried. And who was that he remarried? Vishnu Priya. Vishnu Priya is Bhu Shakti. According to Bhakti Siddhanta, as Sita is to Ram, Vishnu Priya is to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhu Shakti. Shri and Bhu Shakti. Internal potencies, not material. So the Bhu Devi that came and took Sita away, and Bhu Devi that gave birth when Janaka was plowing, preparing for a yajna, the plow unfurled. Sita Devi just came out of the earth. Yes? and she went back into the earth. That Bhu Devi is the external manifestation of the internal potency. Could you do that again? Sure. There's the spiritual realm. I'm way up here. That's the spiritual realm. And this realm is a reflection of the spiritual realm. As they say, as above, so below. This is a reflection, a shadow of, a reflection of the real thing. The real thing is in the spiritual world. And here, there's a reflection of the real thing. So there's Mother Earth, but she's a reflection of Bhu Shakti in the spiritual realm. You with me? So Mother Earth produced Sita, the daughter of Janak, and she entered back as Bhu Devi, rose with a nice Vyasa-san, and seated right next to her was Sita, entering not just into the earth, but to the spiritual realm. That's her eternal position. And in between there was a pastime called Ramayana. Far out. And many things happened. Many things happened, including we had this discussion at the temple and the day before where the Maya Sita was kidnapped. Not the original, not possible for Ravana to touch it one finger on the body of the spiritual Sita Devi. Not possible. Not possible. Not possible. Maya Sita. But it's the original Sita, Bhu Shakti, that entered into the earth along with Bhu Devi. So that's it for Valmiki Ramayana. Now, tomorrow we're going to be discussing another personality and so forth. So little by little, we can start to get, there's a big puzzle. And it's hard, how did this puzzle piece fit together with that puzzle? What's the big puzzle look like? So we're not going to get to the big puzzle, we're just little pieces, and how this piece fits together with the rest of that puzzle. And it's a wonderful composition. Eternal, as the Vedas are eternal. We heard this the other class. According to, it's right with what Brahma said, but it's as Vedic as the four Vedas. It's eternal. It's eternal. Mula Ramayana, it doesn't have a beginning. We heard the very first class. Hayagriva gave to Lord Brahma Mula Ramayana. Just as Lord Narayana breathes the Vedas and gives the Vedas to Lord Brahma, and he receives them. Hayagriva gave to Lord Brahma Mula Ramayana. It's eternal. And then there's little other Ramayanas, 74 verses, synopsis, etc. 24,000 verses, and then etc. There's different versions. So find your favorite version, read it over the next week or so in anticipation, enthusiastic anticipation of preparing yourself for Ramchandra's appearance and his appearance festival. I'm sure you're going to have a nice festival at the temple. Any discussion? Yes, I see. One and two. Yes. Here comes the microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You mentioned earlier that when Sita Devi came back into the earth, that she's there with Sri Shakti and Bhu Shakti. And
There are others, by the way.
I was just
That's
about
your
that.
question.
I've heard from Chaitanya Charitamrita that
Leela Shakti or
yeah.
Neela Shakti.
Yes.
And that manifests the Dham,
Okay.
but also the Leelas. Go ahead.
I guess as a follow-up question to that, the idea of Shakti is very, I guess, central to Gaudiya Vaishnava theology.
Yes, it is.
But
Gaudiya Vaishnava theology, by the way,
yes.
there are others that don't have that same emphasis that we have. I'm just making a point. Go ahead.
Of course, yeah. And yet we hear more of Sri Devi, Bhudevi, and Neela Devi from Sri Vaishnav and Madhva Siddhanta. So how does that relate to our conception of Srimati Radharani and that idea of Shaktis?
How does it relate? It's a special for Gaudiyas. There's a special emphasis on the role of Srimati Radharani. Now, if you want to know what is that special emphasis of the role of Srimati Radharani, is that what you're asking? That's not
I guess
exactly.
More so Tattva. How does Srimati Radharani fit in with this threefold version of the Lord's energies?
She's according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Radharani is the source of all of the internal potencies. From Radharani comes all the other Shaktis. The queens, the goddesses of fortune, Lakshmi, in Vaikuntha, they're her expansions.
And so that includes Sri Devi, Bhudevi, and Neela Devi.
Yeah, all, etc. Because Sri, that's one of them. She's goddess of fortune. Okay? She's the source. She's the source. Okay? Here's a detail. Following your question. As you know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent 4 months of the rainy season in the house of Venkatabhata in Srirangam. And because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Venkatabhata were both very learned, in the evenings they would have learned discussions. Naturally. So one time, you know where I'm going with this, right? Okay. Some of you maybe knew or you don't know where I'm going with this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, it is said that the goddess of fortune, Sri Devi, is most chaste. But it is said that Lakshmi, the consort of Narayana, wanted to experience rasa dance according to the Puranas, and so she left Narayana to go participate in the rasa dance. So how is that being most chaste? And Venkatabhata said, no problem, because Narayana and Krishna are the same. So she wasn't unchaste. Narayana and Krishna are the same. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, very well, but when she went to Vrindavan to participate in the rasa dance, she wasn't permitted to participate in the rasa dance. How come? Not only she wasn't permitted to participate, but she underwent austerities for thousands of years and still was not permitted to participate. Now, why is the goddess of fortune doing austerities to participate, but she still couldn't participate? Can you explain? You understand the question? And Venkatabhata said, I don't know, but I think you know. Could you explain? And the explanation goes like this, that in Vrindavan, the gopis, they're expansions of Radha, and there's a certain mood. There's a mood where Aishvarya, the opulence of Vaikuntha, where Narayan resides, is eclipsed completely by madhurya, sweetness. So much so that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, in the Aishvarya mood didn't fit in the madhurya mood of rasa dance, although they're not different. The mood is different. And the difference of mood is the significant proportion of madhurya or sweetness that exists not only for the rasa dance, but the whole of Vrindavan is filled with madhurya. Narayana and Krishna are the same and yet different in terms of mood or the emphasis on sweetness of loving exchange. So your question was, Radharani, what's her relationship? She's the source of the goddess of fortune. All Vaikuntha planets have Narayana, and all Narayanas have Lakshmi, and Radharani is the source according to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now that's very high, and it goes further than that, but that's a nice beginning. That's a response to his question. How does Radharani fit in with the positions of the internal potencies by different names? Shri Bhu and Neela. You had something.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, you said that when Sita Devi entered into the Bhudevi and you connected to the transcendental, I couldn't follow that.
She entered into the earth. She didn't enter into Bhudevi.
Earth.
She entered into the earth.
Earth, yeah.
So the big hole in the earth opened, and rising from that hole in the earth was a Vyasasana, a seat for Sita Devi to sit on. Bhudevi was already there, and she made a place for her, and they receded back into the earth and she disappeared. Does that answer your question?
Now that you connected to the transcendental, I couldn't.
Okay. I was explaining the Bhudevi that came to receive Sita is the earthly expansion, Bhudevi. The reflection of the spiritual potency, Sri Shakti, is Bhudevi, that Mother Earth. Bhudevi, Mother Earth. That's the reflection of the spiritual potency. Is it clear? So the earth is a reflection of the spiritual potency. The spiritual potency has a reflection in this realm. So we are to respect the earth as mother. In Vedic culture, there's 7 mothers. The earth is one of them. But then there's the source of all 7, and that's Bhushakti. It's internal spiritual potency before and beyond material creation. Sri Shakti is there. The spiritual realm is there. Is that clear?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I'm just extending the same question. So we consider Bhudevi is also concept of Narayana. And here Sita, Mother Sita is actually not Bhudevi actually on earthly planet, but it's a Bhushakti.
Yes.
Is extended here.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And
have you understood his question? Anybody like his question clarified? Okay, you understand it. Great. The reason I'm pausing like this is because we're not used to speaking about these spiritual potencies like this. We're not used to it. Most of us are not used to it. So it's kind of like a new technology. How do you deal with it? So if you picture in your mind a deity of South Indian deity where there's a nice deity and there's a festival deity, the Utsav Murti, and on this side and that side, there's Shri and Bhu Devi. Generally, they're very small, comparatively in size to the Vigraha of the festival deity. But they're representing, or they are, these two Shri and Bhu Devi, the spiritual potencies of Narayan. And Sita is that. She's Bhu Devi in the spiritual realm. Narayana, Shri Devi. Only it's Sita, Ram. That's who she is. Appearing the way that she appeared. No.
Yes, ma'am. And also in Ramayana, there is a reference of Vedavati. So before actually Lord Ram and Sita born, actually there was a pastime of Vedavati with Ravanasura.
Yeah.
And she enters into the bonfire and then...
Speak slowly. You're speaking really fast.
Yeah.
You want to know what's the relationship of Vedavati and Sita.
Yes,
That's what
Maharaj.
you're wanting to know.
Yes, Maharaj.
I don't know of any Shastra that has the answer. So I can only use my intuitive sense that is, they're the same. Before Sita appeared as the daughter of Janak from the earth, there's Vedavati. And she has some kind of connected with Sita connection. Exactly, I don't know any Shastra that says, or any Acharya commentary that says, so I don't like to wing it, but there's certainly a connection. It's of the same spiritual potency, because she's not an ordinary lady. She's not an ordinary lady. And she then appeared later to provide, the consequence for Ravana touching her hair.
Actually, I heard the Maya Sita you are talking about. Actually, the Vedavati is actually like a Maya Sita lady.
I don't know the connection. I can't, don't. When the training that I've received is, when you say something, there should be Shastra Praman to support it. If you don't have Shastra Praman to support it, you don't say it. If you say it, what's the Shastra Praman to support it? So maybe this, maybe that, maybe the other thing. We don't go there. Unless there's some Shastra Praman to support it. And in many cases, the realizations of perfected souls who are in the category of perfected soul acharyas, when they make commentary, it's equivalent. Because they don't make statements without Shastra Praman. They may indicate or may not indicate the Shastra Praman behind their statements. But there's Shastra Praman and there's their realizations that they're expressing. Anything else? You're letting me off easy. That's okay. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Ramachandra Mahamahotsav ki, Gaur Premanandi.